welcome to another Tinfoil Tuesday. How's everyone doing? I hope your beginning of your week is going well so far. Moon Griffin, thanks for 9 months. That's a sub baby. This sub baby's name is going to be Martian Gray. Martian Gray. Overthought with 50 bits says, Happy Tuesday all. May your friends conspire with you and your enemies be foiled. Thank you, So Holiday, for reminding me about changing it to just chatting. I had forgotten. Appreciate it. Did I vote today? What do you think? What does my sticker say? Yes, I did. It's, primaries. So I did go vote. I hope you also went to vote, if applicable. So today we're doing Tinfoil Tuesday. We're doing, of course, bingo. If we get a level 5 hype train, I'll put on all the tinfoil stuff. Other than that, you know, got some new conspiracies today. I'm interested in the nuclear weapons one, because I found, surprisingly, and this seems to be on the rise, so, warning, a rising trend in the conspiracy community is the conspiracy that nuclear weapons don't exist. So, that's not great. So we're going to be watching, among many other things, typical stuff like flat earthers, we're going to be watching some nuclear weapon deniers today. Why, though? For the same reason for basically every conspiracy theory, the reality's too scary for them, so they have to come up with a convoluted narrative to make their worldview palatable. For themselves, at least. Chat, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna be conceited, but I think I look pretty good today. Considering I'm not wearing any makeup, I think I look pretty good. Thank you. Today was a weird day, by the way. I went to the used Blu-ray store, because I love that stuff, and I ran into multiple people. So, I told you guys about the Karen that was there last time. I told you guys about how I confronted that Karen. She was back there again, at the same time as me. There was no interaction or anything, and she wasn't Karening. She just was there again. So, that was weird that she went at the same time. And there was someone else I'd been talking to who I'd met, because I'm trying to meet more people in the trans community in the area. So I've been talking to this one person, and I happened to run into her and her friend. So that was fun. Very small world sometimes. Bumble Homestead with 100 bits says, Gee, I thought she was never coming back there again. She did say that. Oh, how ridiculous would it have been for me to be like, I thought you weren't coming back, ma'am. I guess you did come back, huh? Aria Julie, thanks for 19 months, says, Oh goodness, my second baby and we never named the first. Alright. Let's just say that it's twins. This isn't how twins work, but we'll pretend it is. And the twins' names are going to be Arnold DeVito and Danny Schwarzenegger. Those are the two sub-baby names. You're welcome. They're twins. Your last used media store closed in your area? That's a shame. There's one around here that's constantly full. Like, I've gone there multiple times. I go there pretty regularly, because you guys know I collect Blu-rays. And sometimes I get duplicates if I replace older, like, Blu-rays or DVDs with 4K Blu-rays, or DVDs with Blu-rays, or whatever. So, I'm there all the time, in and out. You know, I trade things in, I get store credit, I go and I see what their selection is when other people trade stuff in. It's a fun experience for me. So I'm pretty lucky. That one's pretty busy. I don't think they'll be closing anytime soon. They seem to do pretty good business. I live in a probably a good town for that kind of thing, though. So, Bumble Homestead of 200 bits says, Train. Can you watch that shitty trailer today? Yes. I watched the trailer, by the way.
Celebrate the life.
Just personally, I watched it. It looks hilarious. Memes or Kolboth, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs to the community. Appreciate ya. And getting so much of the hype train already. We're at 56% to level 4 of the hype train already. Elminato with 50 bits says, which twin has the inferior genes? They're just both mediocre. They're just both mediocre. If they feel bad about it, tell them welcome to the club. Humiliated Grapes, thanks for gifting a sub. Dr. Gamble, thanks for 25 months. Bittergrin with 100 bits says, I keep getting an ad for that movie on YouTube. It looks so horrible. Jake and I were talking about maybe reviewing it. It's been a while, but we can maybe dust off our review hats. Bardlock Moses, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Stone Corbell with 100 says, all aboard. Humiliated Grapes with 200 bits. Sume with a link of some kind. They don't even know I'm saving this peach for the kids. 65% to level 5. We did a lot of movie reviews back in the day. Like, we actually have a pretty decent sized playlist full of movie reviews. Bittergrin, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Bubble Homestead with 100 bits says, I just realized Twins is a eugenics movie starring an American and an Austrian. Yeah, it is. 148% to level 5, wow. We did it, everyone. Hype train achieved. Let's get on the hype clothing. It's around here somewhere. Bittergrin says, I almost thought it was re-release of a movie you guys had reviewed. The tropes all looked so familiar. We definitely watched a movie with similar hell effects. I don't remember what it was called, though. That's the wrong one. I did hear about the Batgirl movie. It's a shame. I don't know if it would have been good, but I'm surprised they're not at least throwing it on, like, HBO Max. I thought it would at least go there, but... Just took your first titty skittle? Congrats. By the way, everyone, Occult Comics, you said it in chat, so it's fine, of course. Took their first HRT today, so good job, Occult Comics. Happy for you. May it bring you all the joy in the world. Your headcanon is that Junior is a prequel to Twins? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense! Woo! I need to get a trim to get some of these dead ends out. Or split ends. Ugh! Where are my horns? They're around here somewhere. Have I seen the TERF being dumb and claiming gender dysphoria and trans identity can't be valid because, according to her, all mental or other health conditions are physically diagnosable? Yes, that's right. She claims psychology, a field whose entire diagnostic manual is based on symptoms, uses physical criteria to diagnose people. That's asinine. Chromatic Cuttlefish says jet propels around backwards and upside down. Sume says they're probably going to release it theatrically. No, they already said they're not releasing it in any capacity. It's getting shelved. it's warm today, so this is just gonna be a nice... This is gonna be a nice sash of some kind. What is... I don't know. How can I wear this in a way that's the least, Could I maybe do it around an arm somehow? Let's think about this. There, it's a little extra. Where are my gloves? They're here. I gotta get some new tinfoil clothing. Alright, thanks for the level 5 hype train, everyone. Much appreciated. Oops. That wasn't the tab I meant to close. It was this one. So thanks for the hype. Let's, real quick watch this terrible trailer. And then we'll get into the conspiracies. Get your bingo cards ready, by the way. This trailer doesn't count towards bingo stuff, because it has nothing to do with conspiracies. But get your bingo cards ready. Exo Deadlock says, if only you had some convenient clothes hooks on your head. Guys, this is why I can't have a real job. I have to be a streamer, because I can't think to do this. Do you see? Do you see? Alright, that's the look we're going for. It's great. That looks good, right, everyone? Does that look good? Not quite symmetrical, but it's a statement. Kind of wish I had two just to even it out.
We're gathered here today to celebrate the life of a great man.
Man, did they use the same technology they used in The Mandalorian for this? It looks so good. Looks like he's really in hell.
What is this place?
So, welcome to hell.
How is my motherland?
Probably don't use Hitler in this.
This is Mr. Judas Iscariot. Well, let me guess. You're one of those fools who thought you said a magic prayer, right?
Can we finally quit this rat race and really take our time to serve the Lord?
You accepted Jesus Christ by simply praying a prayer at some summer camp, and you thought your salvation was guaranteed.
Yeah, that's what salvation is.
I just received a fresh anointing from the Holy Ghost. There's a man of faith here tonight who will write me a check for $10,000 right now.
And yet Jesus spoke more about hell than anyone else in the Bible. Did you know that 50% of Christians today do not believe in hell?
Preaching about hell, that's old school fundamentalism.
Hell is a real place, Shane.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 says to remember God before the silver cord is broken.
Long life to find you. I realize I'm just a filthy sinner. God, please. Shane, come on, man. Stay with us, buddy. You got this, man. Breathe. Come on, breathe.
I'm pretty sure this, Baha and I had a disagreement about this. She thinks that the scene that you're about to see is like halfway or 2/3 through the movie, and then he'll come back and try and tell everyone. I just think they're about to show us the last scene in the movie. I think the guy just wakes up and it's like, it was all a dream, or it wasn't a dream, but I had an experience, a second chance. I think this is the last
Breathe!
scene.
Breathe! Yes,
Come on,
breathe!
Shane. Come on,
Breathe,
Shane.
Shane, yes!
Yes. Come on, Shane. Keep breathing. Keep
Oh,
breathing.
thank you, God, for your son, Jesus Christ. Thank you. I deserve hell, and I will praise you even here.
It's unbelievable. He's alive.
Shane, are you all right? What's gotten into you, man? You're talking crazy.
Nails the Demaxi says, man, when you can't out SFX a 5-year-old nostalgia critic skit. And First Name Bunch of Numbers says, hell is real. I know because Ohio told me so. What? Wait, are you telling me the super villain shuffle? Super villain shuffle. Are you telling me this isn't the peak?
Doing the super villain shuffle!
I am Ra's al Ghul, and I'm here to say no inflection in your voice is A-OK. With the leak of shadows, I'll make Gotham fall. I have several identities, all of them dull.
I am Harvey Dent, and my face is bent. My evil motivation makes little sense. I was a nice guy, but now I'm deranged, determining my future on the back of change. My attitude can turn on the flip of a dime. Boy, I tell you, this deal's getting worse all the time.
I am Dr. Crane, totally insane, and I only have a few lines in the movie, so next.
Now, this is a story all about how my frown got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, don't go too far. I'm gonna tell you a little story about how I got these scars. My daddy was a drinker. My wife, she liked to gamble. My dog's a plastic surgeon. Please stop me if I ramble. My plans are so detailed, it's like I see into the future. I'm a ball-busting, fat-bashing, gangster money moocher.
Word! I quit.
That hurt. Alright, on to the conspiracies. I've tortured you all enough. Let me see if I can figure out the sizing on this. The size of the window isn't right. Huh, why am I having trouble with this? I don't have that controller plugged in somewhere, do I? Sorry, I'm having trouble resizing this. Let me try and do that. Do this. Why doesn't want to let me change it? That's weird. What if I use this one? This might work, I just have to resize it. A lot. Dead air. Okay. Just about good. Alright, let's do it. It's always nice when the conspiracy theories tip a hat to the fact that they're conspiracy theorists, but don't understand that being tongue-in-cheek only works when you're actually self-aware, and being a conspiracy theorist requires a lot of lack of self-awareness.
Gonna be a nuclear weapon to a... Hey everybody, welcome back to Conspiracy Theories and Chill. Tonight I wanted to get into a couple different theories with you guys and kick them around with you. And the very first one that I wanted to talk about with you is the nuclear weapons are not real. I really don't believe nukes are even a thing.
Alright, so... I find it hard. This is a difficult topic There's a reason I don't cover 9/11 conspiracy theories, or at least haven't so far. It's because I try to keep the show relatively light, right? It's a show in which we come and we learn about weird conspiracy theories and kind of debunk them as an exercise in critical thinking, and also just fun, looking at the interesting personalities that cover this kind of stuff. We try and have a good time. So, it's a little hard to do that when you're dealing with things like, I don't know, a topic I will tell you I will never do, for instance, Holocaust denial. I won't even engage with that level of bullshit. Like, I'm not going to do it. It's not a discussion. It's not a debate. Period. Right? So then from there you have different tragedies that I feel similarly about. So, when we're talking about nuclear weapons, in general, inevitably the discussion is going to come back to the first usage of nuclear weapons on a civilian population in World War II, America using nuclear weapons on Japan. I don't really want to touch on that, if I'm being honest. A lot of people died. Fucking tragedy. So we're not going to discuss that in depth if possible. Just know, if they have any denial of that, fuck them. That's fucked up. There's monumental amounts of historical records that prove this. There are eyewitnesses. Like, there's just no debating whether or not that happened, okay? So, well, that might come up. Not really going to address it other than just being like, fuck you. Just letting you know. Y2 Yasmin says, so I'm Japanese. Fuck this guy. That's all. Have bits. I'm going to go scream at white people. Have fun. Overthought says, nukes aren't real. Me on my way to prove this dumb MFer wrong. Huh. Good movie.
Right now, they're trying to scare everybody and get everybody all riled up that there's going to be a nuclear war. And you better watch out. Nancy Pelosi might go to Taiwan. China might get up in arms.
She did. She landed earlier today, in case anyone missed that. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, if nuclear weapons aren't real, Godzilla wouldn't exist, so checkmate. You say that tongue-in-cheek, but I mean, it's true. Godzilla was a film. If you've seen the later Godzilla films, but haven't seen the first Godzilla film, you might honestly be kind of shocked by the tonal difference. The difference just between Godzilla 1 and the second one is that Godzilla raids again. I don't remember. I own like the first 15 of them. I like the Godzilla movies a lot. Between the first and second Godzilla films, there's a huge difference in tone. The first movie actually takes itself quite seriously. Godzilla is an analog for nuclear attack on a civilian population. So he's treated like an attack. It's treated like this horrifying new thing. People are burned and people are injured and there's just countless deaths and destruction, right? So it's about the people of Japan dealing with this unprecedented event. It was literally just an allegory for the nuclear bombs that were dropped in Japan. The second film, of course, then turned it into more like, what if he fought a monster? And then, they went on to be a very great series of films, varying levels of cheesy, varying levels of taking itself seriously. But if you haven't seen the Godzilla movies, at least check out maybe the first one. Pretty good. Criterion Collection has it out, if you don't know. Oh, there are also two versions of the movie. There's the American version, which cuts in some scenes with an American actor named, I forget the actor's name, but the character's name is Steve Martin. The Japanese version does not have those scenes. I believe the Criterion version is the original cut from Japan. So. Nails the Tabaxi with 100-bit says, the original Godzilla is straight-up horror movie. This guy can fuck off. Yeah. So anyway, the point I was trying to make is, even though you were being tongue-in-cheek about the Godzilla connection, it's true. Godzilla would not exist without nukes being real and having a profound effect on the culture of Japan, of that being a scar on the psyche of the people of Japan who had to deal with that horror legitimately and be faced with that. So, fuck this guy. Occult Comics with 100-bit says, Godzilla exists as a direct expression of the rage and despair. It was actually something worked on for quite a few years leading up to its release. A lot of people don't know that the U.S. held an embargo on actual information about the details behind the bombings. Tomoyuki Tanaka researched all the details he could and included as much as possible. It's a fascinating movie to look into. It is. The Criterion Collection, again, their special features on the movie are great, as they always are. Criterion puts out great Blu-ray sets.
Russia may hit the button. Putin's crazy. He's got mental problems. They're going to nuke us. We're all going to die in a fiery explosion. I think they're just for fear and to keep the citizens in line. I don't think there's any such a thing as nuclear weapons, and I don't think that nuclear weapons have ever been used.
I just don't understand how he thinks this was accomplished then. How does he grapple with the fact that we have, like, I don't know how else to put it. How does he grapple with the fact that we have footage of nuclear weapons being used? How does he grapple with the eyewitnesses? How does he grapple with the remains of the locations at the time and the photographs we have of them? I don't understand how you even begin to deal with the mountain of evidence of the fact that nuclear weapons are real.
Think about it. Hiroshima and Nagasaki are both habitable areas. People live in both of these areas, and they thrive and do well there. Chernobyl, where there was a nuclear disaster, completely off limits.
Oh, this is actually an interesting point. The way that these things are done were very different. I think it had to do with how much was in the air and how much was in the soil based on where the detonation took place. I don't remember the specifics, but one of them, the radioactive material was mixed in such a way that it would dissipate more quickly, and in another way it would retain it. So I'm guessing Chernobyl was the one that held on to it for some reason, and the one that was in Hiroshima and Nagasaki was the other.
Still, nothing grows there. There can't be any life.
Anti-Pretzel says, I believe someone once said during the tests, now we are all sons of bitches, and Oppenheimer is quoted, I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. Yeah. Chernobyl is still active. I thought they had to evacuate with stuff still in there. I'm not sure. I know they put a vault thing over it to try and contain it. But yeah, a weapon is different than a slow leak, for sure. Materials used in bombs and reactors have very different half-lives. There we go. Thank you. Have I seen the show Chernobyl? Or Chernobyl? No. I've heard it's good. I'll watch it eventually. Occult Comics with 100-bit says, not sure how much you can show of this clip, but very interestingly, the scene takes direct influence from the firebombings of Japan pre-nuke and leads into a metaphor for the destruction of the nuke with Shin's version of the atomic breath. Oh, is this from Shin Godzilla? I can't show, like, any of this. At least let me mute it. But yeah, Shin Godzilla's an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, please watch Shin Godzilla. Another just fantastic Godzilla movie that takes itself more seriously. It's pretty good.
You can't go there.
Don't get me wrong, I also like the dumb action-y Warner Brothers ones. I liked Godzilla vs. Kong, but like, you know, they're big dumb action movies.
Everything is still completely contaminated in that area. But for some reason, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, people were able to move right back in. Why is that? I think it's because those were not nuclear weapons. They were just...
Do you think he found this image on Google Images that was a mushroom cloud with the word fake on it? Or did he think to himself, oh, I need a primary visual for my 39-minute long stream? What am I going to put on screen? Because I don't want to be full screen. He just found a cloud and typed fake in the default font and color. There we go. That sets the tone.
Napalm or some kind of explosion that was from a bomb that was bigger than anything we'd ever seen before, but not nuclear. I really don't think there are nukes. I think it's been...
Mike Max says, Shin Godzilla versus Destroyed? I don't know what that means.
Propaganda and a scare tactic.
Oh, Desotroya! Oh god, which one was Desotroya? I know it's pronounced like Desotroya! Let me look at him. Desotroya. Oh, yeah. Probably Desotroya.
Think all along.
Granite Cuttlefish says, not quite. The Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs were airburst for maximum effect and contained less than 100 kilograms of fission materials. Chernobyl released orders of magnitude more fission products and neutron-activated materials. Thank you. Simple Cat Girl says, is this Call? Just sounds like Call if he was sick. Why do all these crazy conspiracy theorists sound like Call? Also, I feel like some conspiracy theorists just want to deny every basic reality, even when there are tons of evidence of the truth, because they aren't secure and happy in their life that they need a secret conspiracy to tell them their reality isn't real to feel better. Like, that's the only reason I can see conspiracy theorists to go in on such bullshit. It's possible. Dread Pirate Mick with 18 months says he's asking questions that could be answered with a 2-sentence Google search. Conspiracy theorists are the least curious people. Or 2-second Google search. That makes more sense. Yeah, I wonder if on some level they don't want to do that because they know they'd immediately be proven wrong. Sorry, Sky Comet. Let me find your old bits. I didn't mean to miss them. Thank you for letting me know. Said, nothing grows here. Things grow in Chernobyl. There's a forest in the middle of the street. Yeah, that is true.
And they're trying to use it again. When I was in school, they used to tell us to get under our desks. You know, get under your desks if the Russians nuke us, and that'll protect you.
That's actually an often misunderstood concept, the whole duck and cover thing. Obviously, we all know the whole duck and cover. If a nuclear bomb's coming, get under your desk, and haha, we all laugh because, oh, kids, it's not gonna save you from a nuclear blast. No shit. The idea isn't to save people in the nuclear blast. It's a way to keep people calm. No shit. It's a way to keep children calm when they're about to die. Like, I get it. But also, secondly, if you're not in the immediate blast area, but you happen to be on the edge, you might survive, guys. I don't know if you know this, but there are, like, in an explosion like this, especially in a highly populated area, if you get far enough away from it, and there are probably people far enough away from it, they might be in an area where they'll still get some blast, but not as much exposure to radiation or heat or whatever. So if you happen to be in that group, it might be safer to go under your desk to save you from, when the shockwave comes, you know, windows exploding and stuff. I don't know. But a lot of it's definitely keep kids calm and make them feel safe in their final moments. You're not smart for pointing out it's stupid. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, in fairness, a mushroom cloud is the result of any sufficiently large explosion. Nuclear weapons are the most common, but a big meteor or asteroid impact would also generate one. Correct. Yes, I did know that.
It's fear. They just want you afraid. Want you feeling like they have some weapon that could destroy the world and it could potentially be used. Someone could press a button. They got you afraid of a button. Why would anyone press the button? Let's say I am Putin or I am Xi Ying or whatever from China. Why would I press my button? Because if I press my button and I shoot a nuke at America, now America has to shoot a nuke back at me.
Does this guy think is this guy about to independently discover game theory and not understand that that's a thing people know about and that's what... Like, does he think he's... Like, is he inventing mutually assured destruction accidentally right now? Auntie Pretzel says, here's why, jackass, a show of power.
And we're all going to die. Everybody's going to start pressing their buttons. They're ridiculous weapons. And even if they ever did it...
Nails the Tabaxi says, yeah, I saw War Games 2. Great movie. That is a great movie. I love that movie. Matthew Broderick.
...exists at this
I love seeing Matthew Broderick, like, dial into the modem with the actual phone. It's so good.
...point, they would have been made obsolete. At this point, nuclear weapons would be obsolete. Think about what they have now. Like what TJ was just saying. Direct energy weapons. They have frequency weapons. They have things that would literally be magical to us. We would not...
believes sci-fi technology actually exists on the bingo card.
I understand what was being used against us. They don't need to nuke anyone. They have a lot neater shit now. And they're still trying to scare you with this old technology because they made it very frightening. It's very scary, but it makes no sense. No one would use it. No country would have anything to gain by pressing their button.
Does he understand that when nukes were first invented, only one country had them and then other countries got them? Leading to this situation naturally. Like, it's not like one day we all woke up and everyone said, what if we all simultaneously invented thousands of nuclear missiles? Like, this was a process that took time. America had them, then Russia had them, then other countries started developing them or getting them through partnerships with America or Russia. Like, it's not hard to understand this.
All it would do is destroy everyone if you believe them in what they are potentially capable of. These
Chromatic Cuttlefish says, also, 50s era fission weapons are relatively low yield, so taking cover could conceivably help. It's become a lot less useful when you have 2 megaton hydrogen city killers. Yeah. You know how there was, like, the biggest nuclear weapon ever, Zarbomba or whatever? There's gotta be a bigger one now that we just don't know about, right? Like, the United States government, and this is me being a conspiracy theorist, I'm not saying I actually believe this, I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me to find out at some point we have some insanely more powerful nuclear weapon than that.
Weapons. But the stuff they have now is so much better than any of that.
Mike with 50-bit says, I like the fact that in Final War, Toho introduced Zilla, the American Godzilla, in bad CGI and made it lose to Godzilla in seconds, and playing in the background were all to blame by some 41. That was awesome.
That they used to scare us with. Most of it, we have no idea of. Put your head between your legs. You know, they just put out a nuclear video of what to do in a nuclear attack for New York.
Psychotropic Thunder says, probably not. Zarbomba was almost a massive disaster for the Soviets and served to legitimate strategic purpose. Okay.
New York. And it was...
That's good to hear.
Shit like that. Come inside. Get under a doorway, like tornado sounding shit.
It's very difficult to build new nukes in the modern era. I hope that's true.
Like, that would protect you.
I don't know, though. But it does make me feel better that you said that. Which probably isn't a good sign. I'll look into it later to find out the actual answer.
From anything like a nuclear weapon. If you believe nuclear weapons are anything like what they've led you to believe they're supposed to be. It would wipe out a complete city. We've seen Terminator 2.
Terminator. Honestly, I was going to make fun of that comment, but Terminator 2 is actually like a really scary depiction of a nuclear strike. I don't know how accurate it is, but like, yeah, that's a scary scene. Probably wouldn't reference it when I'm actually talking about nuclear weapons, though, because again, it's a movie, not real life.
Seen this movie projection of what nukes are supposed to be capable of?
Cites media from 20 years ago as evidence? Sure, yeah.
And
no, because that's call site. You know what? We're not doing call anymore, so yes, that'll count. We'll just say it's anyone cites media from 20 years ago or more.
Then you've even seen their test stuff, like the picture I have up on the screen. But you don't really know what you're looking at there. You know what I mean? Joan said her cousin went to Chernobyl with Union Carbide when that happened because he was able to speak Russian. But that place is still completely contaminated, am I right? They're not building cities there now. No one goes there. It's off limits. But I think they just want to scare you. That's what I think nuclear weapon.
You can go there. There are tours. You just got to stay in specific areas. And you're only supposed to be there for a certain period of time. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, no, bigger nukes are eventually pointless. Longish story, but Edward Teller figured out that after a certain point, a bigger nuke just tears off chunks of atmosphere and launches it into space. Build one 10 times bigger, it just launches the same chunk of atmosphere going twice as fast. Oh, okay. Astrofox says they stopped needing large bombs because the missiles are more accurate. when you can hit a dime from across the nation, it doesn't need a bomb that big. They only wanted big ones back in the day because it was hard to make sure your rocket hit exactly where you targeted. Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Are. I think it's a scare tactic, something to keep you afraid that there's this weapon that would wipe out all of humanity that they could potentially use. And then they'll tell you this guy's going to use it, or this crazy leader's going to use it. Got to watch out. Putin's going to hit his button. Putin's crazy. And then he's telling his people that we're going to do it, you know? Jones says off limits and weird mutant animals are there to this day. And you believe that Hiroshima and Nagasaki were wiped out by nuclear weapons and people are able to live there? That makes
Chernobyl
any
wasn't
sense?
a nuclear weapon. It was a nuclear
No,
power
it
plant.
doesn't. It's so ridiculous. They try to keep you afraid all the time that something's getting ready to happen and we're going to enter into World War III. World War III has been going on a long time. World War III is a silent war, fought with silent weapons. It's a spiritual war. It's a war for your soul.
I would like clarification on what the fuck that means. That's how Star Trek got away with saying World War III happened in the 90s or early 2000s, even though it didn't. It's a secret war.
We've been in World War III ever since we entered the Matrix, and we live.
Doesn't understand the Matrix as a trans metaphor on the bingo card.
Literally do live in the Matrix. And the purpose of it is to try and destroy God, to try and eliminate God from the world, from people's hearts and from people's souls, and get control of people's souls. It's a spiritual war. You know, there's not been any bombs dropped in it yet. That doesn't mean there never will be, but that's not what they're interested in. They're interested in presenting you with a false version of reality to get you to believe and follow endless distractions and endless lies instead of using your own common sense and trusting your own senses and what you see before you. They painted this fake world and they force you to buy into it by making you a debt slave.
Wag Roads, thanks for 27 months.
And they've indoctrinated our children. They've propagandized the regular person to a level that almost no one could be faulted for.
This guy maybe I'm crazy, but it sounds like this guy's super high, right? Is he talking in like a weird like cadence where it just sounds like he's, I don't know, kind of too in his own head or something, you know what I mean? Dr. Gamble says, with 50 bits, this guy, when the end of the world happens, with a link.
Fucking lied to us. The president just texted me. Don't chill. It's all good. Don't chill.
Where did it go?
Falling subjective to. They want to keep you from the ultimate truth that God created this world.
This guy does sound a lot like Call. Like Max says, does he go on the aftermath that the Nuke have in the Japanese or in Bikini Atoll? Here an article where the people of Bikini Atoll sued the US government. He would probably say this is fake. That's the thing about being a conspiracy theorist. Any evidence that goes against you is just part of the conspiracy.
Cool.
That was a stream baby? Oh, okay. The stream baby's name is going to be Antoine Delotreve.
That you are important, that you matter. And you have a creator that loves you. And love is what's important.
Sky Comet said, dude, there's such a thing as too much LSD. When you're this paranoid, lay off. Good advice for everyone.
Love, spreading truth. Truth is love. They want to keep you from all of that. They want you to believe that you are on a rock hurtling through space at satanic numbers. And
Satanism on the bingo card? Satanism on the bingo card. Satanic.
I'll get to why I said satanic numbers here in just a minute.
This guy's good. I'm gonna have to save this guy. This guy's got it all going on.
But in an infinite galaxy, just a speck in all of creation, and that you mean nothing. Well, that's absolutely not true. You are very important to your creator, and you were created for a reason.
Sir, I came here for the batshit crazy conspiracy takes. I didn't come here for a sermon.
And we may not know what that is, but one day you will be able to ask your creator about that. Until then, I think we fight the way we've been fighting, by spreading love and spreading the truth, because Stream's right. Love conquers all negativity. And we're under such an attack all the time in this matrix.
He's like the anti-call for an uprising, because he believes all the crazy call for an uprising stuff, but instead of being violent and, like, implying people should go hurt other people, he's just like, just love everyone, man.
In this false reality that they're creating. And that's what we do. Those are the people I see here, the names I see. We get out there and we fight back against it. And that's what we have to do. I don't think we sit on our hands. I think we get out there and work in the world, spread truth, spread love, and fight this lie, because we are in the age of deceit. Luciferians
I would agree with that.
this world, and they've
Wouldn't agree with the Luciferian part, but a lot of people are being deceived. I'd argue this gentleman is one of them.
Created a world of lies. Everything is a lie. Literally everything. Including our home.
God damn it! Flat Earth on the bingo card.
The very place we live, everything we've been told about it is a lie. The truth of our home, you know. I don't know really what to call the subject matter. If I say flat Earth, everybody knows what I'm talking about. But the problem with that is it's got such a stigma on it that as soon as you say it, everybody also thinks you're intellectually challenged. When really every bit of your senses points in this direction. That the Earth is flat and stationary. And what I was talking about a moment ago with satanic numbers, they tell you all this stuff in science, and I never really picked up on it. You know, how many 666s are in the NASA numbers for
spurious symbology is evidence.
For just...
He's gonna give someone bingo. We're gonna get bingo on the first video.
Earth's rotation and the speed we're flying through space. We're supposed to be traveling around the sun at 66,627 miles per hour. 666. We are supposedly tilting at 66.6 degrees.
Occult Comics drew the last stream baby, which I think was Anton Delotreve. He apparently has bonitis. I understood that reference.
It's just too in your face for me, you know, the nonsense numbers. How'd they figure that out?
This is just the conspiracy guy from the Pantaveret. I still haven't watched the Pantaveret. Profane Priestess says, meaning nothing is the point, my friend. In all the chaos and confusion of the universe, you get to exist. Sorry. It scrolled. You get to exist. You get to be a way for the universe to understand itself. If anything is divine, that's it. You get to exist in the universe and change it with your words and your mind and your hands. That's really something, isn't it? Nihilism doesn't need to be scary. That's actually really... You put that into very nice words. Good for you.
Out. We're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour at the circumference of Earth. Do you feel like you're moving at all? Does any of your senses tell you you're moving at all? Mine.
That's not how it works. You're on Earth, you're moving with it. Relative to the Earth, you're not moving, because motion is relative, because you're on the Earth and you're within its gravity. You're moving with it. You carry the same momentum. So from your reference point, you're not moving, but you and the Earth are both moving through space relative to other objects. For instance, the sun, or the entire solar system moving relative to the center of the galaxy. Like, these are things. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, apparently only freedom units are satanic. He should switch to using SI.
I don't feel any motion whatsoever.
That's good. A point in the sober category if he doesn't feel any emotion that isn't there.
And I don't believe anything about what I've been told about our home. But I have to tell you, the Flat Earth community has some of the best research towards getting to the truth of the matter that I've ever seen.
I'll count that as my research on the bingo card.
And I was going to share with you some things from some of that research, specifically from Eric Dubé's 200 Proofs that Earth is not a spinning ball. And I only picked out 10 of them. But I'm going to share these 10.
Do you think I could get this guy to come on the channel? Because he just believes in every conspiracy theory. Joey is strong. Thanks for 200 bits. Let me make sure I save this channel because this guy is fantastic.
Now. And I want to hear from you. If you're here and you think, oh my God, this guy's an idiot, how can he be saying he believes that the Earth is flat and motionless and stationary? And, well, just as the Bible says it is. Because that's what my eyes tell me. That's what my senses tell me. That's what everything tells me. And that's what all of these facts tell me. So refute some of this. Let me hear from it. Because Neil deGrasse Tyson was supposed to go on Joe Rogan and debate Eric Dubé. And he backed down.
Yes, the pinnacle of open discussion and debate. Reason. The Joe Rogan experience. God fucking damn.
So we didn't get to hear mainstream science refute any of this, but maybe you could do it for me. Maybe you're a scientist, little amateur scientist, But I'm just going to read 10
Axel54, thanks for 100 bits.
little proofs that the Earth is flat and stationary. And you let me know what you think. The first one is the horizon always appears perfectly flat. 360 degrees around the observer, regardless of altitude. All amateur balloon, rocket, plane, and drone footage show a completely flat horizon over 20.
The Earth is very, 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 very big. Our line of sight, even at high altitudes, is not wide enough to see the curvature of the Earth unless you are incredibly far away from it. Much farther away than balloons get.
20 miles high. And only NASA and other government space agencies show any curvature in their fake CGI photos and videos. And they admit that their photos and videos are CGI. But they say that they have to be. But they tell you they're fake. The next one has to do with water. I love water. I'm fascinated with water. I sit and stare at water. And water always finds its level. The natural physics of water is to find and maintain its level. And if Earth were a giant sphere, tilted and wobbling and hurtling through infinite space, then truly flat, consistent levels of water would not exist here. Could not.
No. level basically just mean that at all points is closest as possible to the center of gravity. And when we're talking about it being flat, it appears flat because the section of water that you're seeing when you're looking at an ocean or a big lake or something is not a very big section, right? It's not a long enough section that when you're looking at it, you're going to be able to see the curvature of the water, basically. Similar to when you're looking at land, if you're looking at even a very flat land, like out at the salt flats or something. Your field of vision is not wide enough for you to be able to see the curvature of the Earth. Same applies to water. It is curving, though. It's just doing so very, very slightly. So all these people will say, well, water doesn't curve. That's absolutely untrue. Water does curve when a force acts upon it. Gravity does this, so the water around the Earth does slightly curve. It just curves in such a way over such a long distance that you don't really see it with the naked eye. Unless you're, again, very, very far away. Another example of a force acting on water to curve it is something you can do yourself. If you use static electricity with a comb or a balloon and you put it near a slowly dripping running faucet like this, you can yourself curve the water because the electromagnetism of the static electricity pulls the water towards it. It's attracted to it. So gravity similarly acts on water in a way that allows it to curve. Bittergrin says, I've never heard their explanation for why places in Alaska get 24 hours of night in summer and darkness in the winter. Do they just think that's a lie? They could go there and see that. It depends on the person. Mostly I've seen them say that because they think it's a disk and the sun is going around it, they just think that the pole is like in an area that the sun always illuminates part of the year. And then they think the sun will change what they consider to be tropics, but really it's different interior rings of the disk, and it goes out further, and at that point it's not illuminating the center at all. They think the sun is like a spotlight that's circling the clock face of the Earth and that it changes tropics throughout the year. It's bad.
Not exist here. But since Earth is in fact an extended flat plane, this fundamental physical property of fluids finding a remaining level is consistent with experience and common sense. You cannot have water on a ball. And we'll get to some of the reasons why here in a little bit. Another thing having to do with water is rivers run down to sea level, finding the easiest course.
Hermetic Cuttlefish says, doesn't work for the Antarctic 24-hour sunlight, though. I don't know how they justify that. I really, really don't. Some of them, I think, have posited a second sun outside of the ice wall. So take that how you will. If you want to feel like you're living on Tatooine, you have options. That's all I'm saying.
North, south, east, west, and all other intermediary directions over the Earth at the same time. If Earth were truly a spinning ball, then many of these rivers would be impossibly flowing uphill. For example, the Mississippi, in its 3,000 miles, would have to ascend 11 miles before reaching the Gulf of Mexico.
This is a flat earther argument you don't see very often because even most flat earthers know how stupid this is. He is conflating curvature with elevation. He thinks that because the Earth curves a certain way, he thinks that it means the water is going uphill. It's very stupid. It's very fucking stupid. Archfactor Bella Inferna, thanks for gifting a sub.
Water doesn't go uphill. One portion of the Nile River flows for 1,000 miles with a fall of only 1 foot. Parts of the West African Congo, according to the...
But it falls. Okay.
The supposed inclination and movement of the ball Earth would be sometimes running uphill and sometimes down. This would also be the case for the Parana, Paraguay, and other long rivers. Water finds its level and flows downhill. If Earth were a ball, 25,000 miles in circumference, as NASA and modern astronomy claim, Spherical trigonometry dictates the surface of all standing water must curve downwards in easily
What?
measurable 8 inches per mile multiplied by the square of the distance.
The 8 inches per mile squared is not accurate. Flat earthers always use it because it gives them incorrect numbers. If you ever see a flat earther using the 8 inches per mile squared, ask them where they got that number. When they tell you where, it's probably from Zetetic Astronomy, even if they don't know it. Zetetic Astronomy was a flat earth text written sometime, I think in the early 20th or late 19th century. That is not the correct calculation for the curvature of the earth. They just all meme it to each other and they all think it's correct. It's not. That's something for, I think, parabolas. I don't remember the specifics.
This means along a 6-mile channel of standing water, the earth would dip 6 feet on either end from the central peak. Every time such experiments have been conducted, however, standing water has proven to always remain perfectly level. In fact, surveyors, engineers, and architects.
Does this count as sites of study from the 19th century? Sure, why not? Overthought 50-bit says, if a 6-foot person were to be represented as a single pixel, the Earth would end up being something like 6,000 feet in diameter. We are fucking so small. I don't know why they don't get this. I don't know either. It's a consistent thing for them. Scale is tough. Which is weird because, like, I have trouble visualizing things. Like, I genuinely have trouble visualizing things. So my thoughts are all in speech. Like, all my thoughts are words, basically. So I am pretty bad at visualizing things, but even I understand the scale of humans versus the Earth. Like, I understand why we can't see the curvature with our naked eye. Like, I get that. How do they not, when presumably they can picture things?
Architects are never required to factor the supposed curvature of the Earth into their projects. Canals, railways, bridges, and tunnels, for example, are always cut and laid horizontally, often over hundreds of miles without any allowance for curvature at all. A surveyor and engineer of 30 years, published in the Brigham Weekly Mercury, stated, "I am thoroughly acquainted with the theory and practice of civil engineering. However bigoted some of our professors may be in the theory of surveying according to the prescribed rules, yet it is well known amongst us that theoretical measurements are incapable of any practical illustration. All our locomotives are..."
Yeah, long bridges do take curvature into account, so he just lied. They're just lying now.
Designed to run on what may be regarded as...
Cult Comic says, sounds like you have aphantasia. It's a super neat thing to look into when you get the chance. I've heard of it.
...as true levels or flats. There are, of course, partial inclines or gradients here and there, but they are always accurately defined and must be carefully traversed. But anything approaching to 8 inches in the mile, increasing as the square of the distance, could not be worked by any engine that was ever yet constructed. Taking one station with another all over England and Scotland, it may be stated that all platforms are on the same relative level. The distance between eastern and western coasts of England may be set down as 300 miles. If the prescribed curvature was indeed as represented, the central stations at Rugby or Warwick ought to be close upon 3 miles higher than a cord drawn from two extremities. If such was the case, there is not a driver or stoker within the kingdom that would be found to take charge of the train. We can only laugh at those of your readers who seriously give us credit for such venturesome exploits as running trains round spherical curves. Horizontal curves on levels are dangerous enough. Vertical curves would be 1,000 times worse, and with our rolling stock constructed at a present physically impossible." And that's from an engineer who's building these railways and all of these things that would have to account for curvature. And then there's gravity. I told you earlier we were going to get back to water and its effect on water. Gravity, which they can't explain or define, but if...
Gravity acts as a force. It's a result of mass bending space-time. That's my layperson's understanding of it. You'd have to ask a physicist to have more information than that. But those answers, I assure you, are out there. I understand there's still a lot we need to know about gravity, like why does mass bend space-time and stuff, but like, that's how science works. You learn things over time. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, speaking of scale, they keep saying you can't get water sticking to a ball, yet if you get a ball and dip it in water, the thin film sticking to the surface after the rest has run off would be proportionately deeper than the oceans. Shh, they don't understand proportion.
Gravity is credited with being a force strong enough to curve the massive expanse of oceans around a globular Earth. It would be impossible for fish and other creatures to swim through such forcibly held down water. If water was being held to a ball, with enough pressure to hold water to a ball, how are things moving through it freely? How are butterflies landing and floating on top of it? How is any of that going on if such a force has to be pushed down on water to make it curve?
Nothing. It's getting pulled, not pushed. Gravity pulls on things, it doesn't push them. But also, yes, we're under gravity, but gravity is actually a relatively weak force, and it acts on things in proportion to their mass. So like a butterfly is smaller than the ocean, and not only that, a butterfly produces opposing forces of thrust with its wings that can oppose and be larger than gravity, therefore it can fly, right? Like, we know how these things work. Tubbs Cyclone 7, thanks for 6 months.
And then ship captains in navigating great distances at sea never need to factor the supposed curvature of the Earth into their calculations. Both plain sailing and great circle sailing. The most popular navigation methods use plane, not spiritual trigonometry, making travel all mathematical and mostly based off the stars. And like a map like the one on the screen right now, the Gleason's map. That's accurate as is. It says so right on there. It's been used for hundreds of years.
I'm pretty sure this is an azimuthal equidistant map. Like, Gleason might be maybe made this, but this isn't what you would typically call a Gleason map. At least I didn't think so. A Gleason map I thought was the one that's typically seen in classrooms. That's the rectangular one. It's called that because it was also done by Gleason, but... Discordant Vol, thanks for 12 months. Happy anniversary. Says, one revolution of the Klein bottle Earth seems good.
And then there's Samuel Rowbotham's experiments at the
Rowbotham
Old Bedford level, which proved conclusively that the canal's water was completely flat over a 6-mile stretch.
Pretty sure that experiment's also been debunked many times.
That should be impossible on a ball. He stood in the canal with his telescope held 8 inches above the surface of the water, and then his friend in a boat with a 5-foot-tall flag sailed the 6 miles. And if
Everett GA, thanks for 4 months, says, "Ack, all this water sticking to the mud ball, impossible!" And First Name Bunch of Numbers says, "All I can think of at this point is Professor Dave's video about flat earthers when he explains that birds fly and the oceans don't because the ocean doesn't have wings."
Earth were a ball 25,000 miles.
Whew, lots of bit messages. Y2 Yasmin says, I wonder how these people do this. Do they just go into research and be like, gravity, nope, gravity, nope, gravity, nope, and then they find the one article that agrees with them despite gravity being in crayon with big no, do, bad idea, fake written underneath, and are like, at last, an intellectual. Yeah, I think they probably search things that they want to be true, as opposed to actually doing fair research that leads them to a conclusion. Discordant Volt says, "You know what else is completely flat over a 6-mile distance? Your mom." Alright, that's pretty good.
In circumference, the 6-mile stretch of water should have comprised an arc exactly 6 feet high in the...
And to be clear, we all suffer from confirmation bias. Like, everyone does. It's one of the most common biases. Everyone deals with it, confirmation bias. Some of us just cope with it better than others, and I don't think these people are coping with it well at all. And they're above average on how often they are making use of it.
Middle. So the entire boat and flag should have ultimately disappeared, when in fact the entire boat and flag remained visible at the same height for the entire journey. All evidence leads to flat and stationary. Exactly. And I don't. I don't. I don't believe we've ever been to the moon. I don't believe we can. They tell you now that we can't. They say maybe they'll be able to figure it back out, but they lost the information. They recorded the 1984 World Series over it. Flight paths don't make sense. There's big problems with flight paths, especially around where Antarctica is supposedly at. There's a lot of information.
Is that alcohol? Is he drinking right now? I don't know if he needs that, if I'm being honest.
Comb through a lot of good research. But the thing is, I know Paul's right. Earlier this morning, Paul was talking about, well, when you get into covering this, everybody's going to think you're an idiot. He's absolutely right. As soon as you bring it up, people think that...
Chromatic Cuttlefish says, this guy should stop talking about flat Earth he doesn't understand and go back to nuclear weapons he doesn't understand. Bookworm 12K with 100 bits says, I got a job for the first time in 6 months because I was denied disability, and it actually seems like something I can handle. Enjoy some of my future first paycheck. Oh, thank you. And I'm really glad you were able to find something.
Something's wrong with you, when really, something's wrong with them. They've bought into a world where everything is a lie. Everything. Literally everything. Including where you live. What's going on in the sky above you. They say with gravity, the force of gravity holds water on a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Joan asked how water stays in place. Gravity. A made-up force.
I mean, technically, I don't think gravity is a force. It acts as a force, but it's an effect that is not technically a force, but it acts as one. So, half a point.
They cannot define. Neil deGrasse Tyson will just angrily move to the next question anytime he's asked to define what gravity is. They do not know.
Untrue.
It's just something they made up to explain shit like water sticking to a ball. A lot of pilots have come out and said there's no curvature. Pilots never have to factor in the curvature of the Earth.
I've talked about that before. Pilots might not say that's what they're doing, but when you're accounting for, like, I think it's pitch, I always forget. Basically, when you're trying to make sure that you're, like, even with the surface of the Earth that you're flying above, that's what you're doing. Like, that's what you're doing when you're adjusting to make sure that your, like, pitch or whatever is correct. You're fine. Like, as long as you keep your pitch and altitude where you want it to go, it's adjusting for that. Nails the Tabaxi says, everything is a lie. Do you know what irony is, Baldric? Yeah, it's like Goldie and Bronzy, only it's made of iron.
They would have to dip their nose. They would have to constantly keep dipping down. They're flying.
They seriously think the Earth is, like, the size of, like, Manhattan or something. Like, they have no idea how big the Earth is. You think the plane has to keep dipping its nose constantly at this much of, like, a declination? How small do you think the Earth is? The curvature is not that severe. It's very big.
Over a ball. They don't have to do that. Otherwise, they'd fly out into space. No, Ron. The red circle is the equator lines. The white is the ice wall. You see the white inside the red? The red is just for calculations. The white is actually landmass. That's Antarctica. I have seen that. The map with the other lands. I do know that it's a really hard subject to get people to even give a chance to.
Yeah, he's talking to a chat. He does live streams.
Because ever since you're little, you had a globe in your classroom.
Why are they so obsessed with that? I think I had a globe in, like, maybe a first grade classroom, I don't think they showed up that often unless it was a geography class or maybe a history class. Like, I don't understand. Why wouldn't there be a depiction of the planet we live on, assuming we lived on a planet? Like, why wouldn't you assume that? It's not a conspiracy.
And you were taught that the Earth is round.
Let me put it this way. I was in more classrooms with flat maps on the wall than I was with classrooms with globes as a kid.
Which makes no sense. That's me too. That's me too. I know that we aren't moving, so I would agree to stationary. And everything inside of my senses and my ability to take in my surroundings points to flat and definitely isn't moving. So, and I believe it was created by God, which makes anything possible. Absolutely anything could be possible. The extra land, all of that. It opens up all kinds of doors when you realize there's no possible way for you to know. You're living in a world that was created by God.
You can know that, apparently. CallCroy88 with 12 months, happy anniversary, says, love you, Hannah, in chat. Happy 12 months in February or March. I'm going to be walking the Appalachian Trail from Springer Mount, Georgia to Maine, and I can't wait to listen to this over a campfire. Here's to many, many more streams, a million years of Hannah. Oh, thank you. I hope you have fun. Overthought with 50 bits says, so on a globe the poles are frozen because they're on the extremes and receive less sun energy, etc. But I've never seen on the flat model why the ice wall should exist at all. Magic? I've never thought of that. I don't know. Stone Corbell says, if we're just going to say God makes anything possible, why argue anything? There's nothing we could ever nail down if there's some omnipotent deity just doing whatever to mess with our senses. It makes trying to understand anything impossible. Yeah.
And the Bible says that it is flat and covered by a dome.
It's a fundamentally incurious way of looking at the world. I've told you guys that I went to a fundamentalist Baptist elementary school. I kid you not, one of the textbooks we had for science class in like 1st or 2nd grade, it was like a question that was like, why do plants photosynthesize, or some bullshit like that, and the actual correct answer to get points on this elementary school science test, the answer was God makes them. God wanted them to. Like, I'm just saying. Fundamentalist Christians will accuse the LGBT community of grooming children for accepting, that, LGBT kids can exist. And meanwhile, they're doing that shit. It's crazy.
On firmament. And I think more and more that's what's going on. That the word is actually true. And that is the truth of our reality. I know that's what they're trying desperately to make you believe isn't true.
Sorry, first name bunch of numbers. Let me find your thing. My classrooms were too underfunded to get globes. We had to settle for a poster of the Mercator projection that was so old it still showed the Soviet Union. I think we had ones that had Russia instead of Soviet Union.
True. But the sky doesn't lie, and they've navigated with it for centuries. And Lee's right, the same constellations recorded 2,000 years ago are the same today.
Reminder, Flat Earth guy, can you see all the same constellations in the northern and southern hemispheres? If it's a flat Earth, why are they different? Chromatic Cuttlefish says, and lo, God spoken to the plants and said, get your photosynthetic shit together, my dudes. Stoner Genesis.
Those aren't coincidences. The stars should be changing. If we are flying 66,000 miles an hour around the sun, and then the sun is flying 660 something thousand miles through the galaxy. It's another 666. So we're flying at these impossible speeds. Why is the sky not changing at all? Why has it been consistent since recorded time?
The stars that you see with your naked eye are very, 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 very far away. And furthermore, they're stars that are also moving in our galaxy because we're in a spiral arm of the Milky Way and all of it is rotating around a central point. These things are also very, very far away. So, again, it's similar to the scale of the Earth problem. It's a scale of time problem in this case, though. Discordant Vol says, I'm sorry, but this infuriates me to the point of incandescence. They will defend the immutability of reality, then claim that it's entirely changeable based on the whims of a deity. They fear the reins of history being in the hands of others. Extra bits for long post. Thank you. Occult Comics with 50 bits says, I once had a teacher scream at my whole class in elementary school. He was insistent that fishes plural was fishes. He was going on and on about it. I have no clue why he wanted to die on that hill, but it was then that I learned a lot of people just want to be right despite being very, very provably wrong. Astrofox says stars do appear slightly different depending on our place in orbit. It's one of the ways we measure the distance to some objects. It's called parallax. It's just not noticeable to the naked eye.
Because we're not going anywhere. We're not moving anywhere. We don't move. We're fixed, stationary, and we are the center of everything. Everything in the sky moves around us. It's a giant clock and navigation system. And that's what it's always been used for and what it is.
Imagine having such a small and, like, sad view of the world that the sky and stars all have a specific purpose, and their purpose is to just be a calendar. They're a clock. They're a big fucking clock. Discordant Vol says, it is if it's different species of fish. Yeah, fish versus fishes as a plural, it depends on if it's one kind of fish or different varieties of fish is, I think. TubeMan642 with 100 says, you know what these flat earthers need to do? Make some kind of 3D representation of their flat earth model. Maybe one that can be rotated, and to make it easier to look, they can place it on a shape like a sphere.
Jones says their map was flat and pulled down over the chalkboard. No globe. They showed us flat and told us round. Oh, really? That was weird.
Did this guy seriously go to a school that didn't have the pull-down maps? The school I went to had pull-down maps. Avant Gardner says, just finished da pasta for dinner, so I gotta go, but I'll watch this later. Thanks for being here, Hannah. Have a good dinner.
This is interesting, too. This will be something I will include in my video for sure, because I don't believe that you should be able to see the moon in the blue sky.
What? Why?
I don't think it should show up during the day in the blue sky. I think that makes no sense at all and is very suspicious and odd.
You ever been really suspicious of the moon? I don't know, that moon's pretty sus. I saw the moon vent.
Why is the moon in the blue sky? The sky's not blue. You know, they tell you that the sky appears blue because of the way light is refracted as the sun light comes through our atmosphere.
Correct, and you're seeing the moon through that atmosphere. It's obscured by the atmosphere, so it's got blue, like, in front of it. But the color of the moon is still there. It's just being obscured by the blue a little bit. That's why the moon has a slightly bluish tint. That's why you can look at the craters of the moon, especially when it's in the daytime and you see it. And the craters almost fade into the sky because you're still seeing the craters and stuff through that atmosphere. It kind of blends in.
Sky.
Steve with a Q says, Obi-Wan was the first to rightly find the moon sus.
Pure blue. So the moon would be out in the blackness of space. The blueness is caused by our atmosphere, and the moon would not be visible through that. And
It's not like a solid blue. The atmosphere is made of a fluid, right? The atmosphere is made of gas that we can see visible light through. It just so happens that the atmosphere, again, bends light in such a way that it skews blue. You can still see through it, though. It just makes everything look blue through it. Ah! Dread Pirate Mick says, the stars haven't moved. Crux could be seen by the ancient Greeks. Now it's only clearly visible in the southern hemisphere.
In my opinion, if that's what's making the sky blue, the moon should not be visible.
Like, by his own logic, does he think that planes shouldn't be seen in the sky? Like, how does he think this works? Because you're still seeing a plane through atmosphere when you look at it in the sky. You're just seeing it through less layers of atmosphere than you're seeing the moon. Ah.
And Jack is right. Polaris never moves no matter where you stand on the planet. And it's right there in the word planet. Plane. The sky is a clock. You can navigate with it. You can tell time with it. You can... And it's consistent. It stays the same. It does not change. You know.
That's actually untrue, because there are some days that are slightly longer or shorter than other days. Like, that's a thing.
Stationary. And
not only that, but I think the rotation of the Earth is actually changing speed slightly over time.
The sky is... everything in it stays the same. The constellations, they're not changing.
Untrue. Discordant Vol says they hate the LAB color space because it's represented best as a sphere. Their YXY stands.
We're not seeing different ones.
I don't understand any of that.
Not flying through space. It makes no sense. Yeah, and during an eclipse, why isn't the world dark? Only where...
What?!
Where you are it.
During an eclipse, the whole world isn't dark because the shadow of the moon isn't big enough to cover the entire Earth. The moon is smaller than the Earth.
Not the whole world. If the moon had slipped in front of the sun, it wouldn't just be where you're at.
The moon is very close to the Earth relative to the sun! And it's also smaller than the Earth, sir! Sky Comet says, no, planet means wander, you stupid motherfucker. Planet, I think, actually means wandering star. Because, of course, back in ancient history, they'd see these lights in the sky that moved more than the other stars. They were planets. They appeared to be moving more because they're closer. Wandering stars.
That makes no sense. The eclipse is going to be visible to people in this area from 3:15 to 3:35, and then people in this area from... What? Why wouldn't it be for everyone? It's the moon getting in...
Again, does not understand the size difference, but doesn't understand the size of the Earth.
In front of the sun. Why would that be affected by where I'm standing at? That's for sure. That's what I know for sure. It is crazy, crazy,
Is he
crazy.
vaping right now? It looks like he's about to take a sick hit from a vape. Is he both drinking and getting high right now? Can we, like, not crossfade on stream? That'd be great.
But I think these are the truths that really matter. This is what's really important.
Chromatic Cuttlefish, can't read that. Even a cartoonish expression of wanting to hurt someone you can't really do on Twitch. I gotta purge that. One sec. How do I purge this? I can't figure out how to do it. There we go. Thanks, Baha.
Is this truth right here? You may want to dismiss it right away. But you know it's true.
Pursuing a single message can only be done in mod view. Gotcha. Or purging a single message, rather. Discordant Vol says, ooh, size difference, worth
This
it.
seed, once it's planted, there's no looking away from it. Once you see it.
There's like 10 minutes left of this, by the way. I know this is long, but this guy's fucking golden as far as I'm concerned, so have some patience, okay?
And you have to see it for yourself. But once you see it, there's no going back. Because you will know.
It's okay,
An
Cuttlefish,
epic
I know you
miracle,
didn't mean it.
because they are a miracle. All of creation is a miracle. Created by God's hand and in God's design. So I just go by the Bible at this point. I'm going
Bible is the only source of wisdom on the bingo card.
by Enoch's descriptions of the universe as shown to him by God.
Isn't the Book of Enoch apocryphal? That's not even technically in the Bible. The Book of Enoch is an extra biblical source, right?
And the lights in the sky. They travel because God wants them to. They move for us. That's part of the matrix of fear. That's part of what they're doing. And all history is a lie. You're right, Diane. But everything's a lie. Literally everything. You know, in the 50s when the CIA...
Does that mean that you telling me that everything is a lie? And if everything you tell me... If you tell me everything is a lie, and that's a lie, then that means everything is the truth, which would mean that you telling me everything's a lie is the truth, which would make it a lie, so it's true, so it's a lie.
They took over the media. They said their main objective was to make sure that everything the American people believed was a lie. They accomplished that objective.
Stone Corbell says, ah yes, the world is a matrix simulation as explained by the Book of Enoch.
Everything. Everything. People will be like, well, no, not that. Yes, that too. Everything. Everything they tell you is a lie. And this is absolutely true. We've been lied to about too much to trust anything that we think we know. If you think you know, you have to ask yourself.
First name bunch number says, here's a cool map of the next total eclipse. The tiny red line is the path of total eclipse. Everywhere else it'll only be partial because the Earth is round and the penumbra is a thing. Cool. Can I zoom out? That's cool how the path, you can kind of see how the Earth's, you know, both curvature and the axial tilt has a play in the path. It's interesting.
Do you? Do you really know? Did you check on any of this information? Did you verify any of this information? Does it match up with what you're seeing with your eyes and your senses? Does logic match up with it? Does common sense jive with it? And it is. Everywhere. Everything's a lie. Deception is literally everywhere. And it is in the scripture. That there would be a time when everything would be a lie. And we're in that time. I feel this way too. Okay, Lee's clarifying a little bit. Aliens are the fallen. Demons are their children whose bodies were destroyed.
Aliens on the bingo card! God damn it!
And this is where I land too. All I know is I don't know. But I do believe it's created by God. So anything's possible. I believe absolutely anything is possible because God created this earth. And I couldn't possibly know. How am I going to understand something at the level of God? You know, I only have my senses and my perception to go off of. Jack says, the book says angels fight their way both ways, in and out. I feel like that's what these entities are. That
Inti Pretzel says, "Man, this guy is hitting just about everything on the card. I know."
Describe as aliens.
That's why I want. I know it's long, but I want to get to the end because I want to see if someone can get a bingo by the end of this video.
The fallen and angels and just entities that travel in and out of our dimension. That's how I feel, and I'm gonna make a video getting into flat Earth and trying to make a case for why I've come to feel this way, that we are stationary and fixed, and we're not flying through space, we're not moving, and all of my senses tell me that we are on a flat plane. So I'm open, as always, to new information. If somebody can show me anything that proves the Earth is not stationary, can show me any evidence that it's moving, can show me how water holds to a ball, show me why I can't see curvature when I should be able to. You know, they've had people and run videos from like 20 miles up. You don't see, it's always flat. It always runs flat to eye level. So there's all
until you get far enough away, and then it's not, and you can see the Earth as a sphere.
All kinds of problems.
Because we also have video and pictures of that.
Problems, and until they're addressed, I don't really care if you mock me.
That's
I
good.
Can't care anymore. I'm only interested in the real important truths of things anymore. And this is a big one. We're being lied to about our home. Can't tolerate that. If it can be destroyed by the truth, it should be. So Amanda said, so are we hollow earthers as well? I feel like there's maybe underground life.
How can you be a hollow earther if you all... If you're a hollow... How could you be a hollow and a flat earther? If you're a flat earther and the earth is hollow, do you think it's a rectangle? Because that would give it... It would have depth, right? So there's depth to it, so is it a cube? Is it a cube earth? Is it a rectangle earth? How does that work?
Again, I am of the opinion that I just don't know, and anything is possible. So there could be a hollow earth too. There could be life going on below us, but I don't think scripture points to that, and I land in that.
Bittergrin with 100 bits says some hollow earthers just mean a lot of caves. Yeah, but if it... I guess that means in all flat earth there is depth. Like the earth is not paper thin, right? The earth has depth. We know this. So within flat earth it's always got to be some shape, right? Like it's not 2D. So is the earth a rectangle? What the fuck is it? Tucker White says, silly Hannah, the earth isn't hollow, it's flat or round. And then there's a link.
Wait, it's all Ohio? Always has been.
I'm not in Ohio, so guess I'm not on Earth. Stone Corbell says, the all my senses tell me argument falls apart with the barest hint of scrutiny. Do your senses tell you germs cause disease? In fairness, he might think they don't. So.
Area. I land that I'm landing more and more that scripture is actually literal. That the word of God is real, and I've wanted forever to believe it was just interpreted, but I think it's literal, telling you literally how things are. And then I think certain books like Enoch was left out on purpose because it points to the earth being flat and stationary and us being in an enclosed environment created by God. Because if you're not spinning through space, if you're not a speck on a rock that's in an infinite galaxy and completely meaningless, and you were created by God, they can't lord over you with fear. They can't keep you afraid if you know for sure that God created this earth and created you, and the word is real, and it would make it impossible to lord over you with fear. They'd want to steal your soul, steal your inner peace, make you a fearful, scared little
Population control is a motive?
rabbit, so you can't think straight. Rose says many other books have been left out of the Bible as well. Nicole says, even the Old Testament? Do I literally believe the Old Testament? I don't know.
Morak, thanks for the raid. Go check out
I've not
Morak's
read the
channel.
Old Testament. I'm about halfway through the New Testament. This is new to me, feeling like scripture may be literal. This is a new thing for me. I didn't feel that way for a long time. In fact, I had a lot of problems with my faith because of the Bible and because of the way some of the things in the Bible are worded, like how it's okay to beat your wife and slavery's okay and all this other stuff that I have huge problems with. I didn't
White
want it to
with 45 bits says, sir, it's not round earth that keeps me scared and in line. It's our capitalist shadow lords.
be literal, but I'm starting more and more to believe that it actually is. I don't know. I'm not sure. I thought that forever. Forever I would say that man edited the Bible. But I don't know now. I don't know where I'm landing anymore.
This guy comment says, I haven't read the Bible, but I believe it literally. In fairness, he's probably read more than most people who believe it literally, so... Ugh, yeah, down it. That's great.
On that subject, I have to kind of be like, I have to say I just don't know. I don't know how much is true, but many other books have been left out of the Bible. Rose is right. There's plenty missing. And the reason for that is so we can't see.
Do you want to know what he's drinking? Probably not. I'd give it the benefit of the doubt and hope it's like an energy drink, but it's probably a beer. I'm projecting, though, too. I used to have, like, a drinking problem, so whenever I see people drinking online, I'm like, but, yeah. Just because someone's drinking doesn't mean there's necessarily an issue. Most people, I think, probably handle alcohol fine. Although he's drinking a tall boy on the internet, which is maybe...
With a complete picture...
Tube Man with 50 bit says, you know, I think the Book of Enoch was omitted because it has angels betraying God to lusting after Humusi, and you can't have God messengers being horny blasphemers. You know, if it's a human, you can just say vagina or pussy. You don't have to say Humusi. I appreciate it. Dr. Campbell says, just say the Earth is non-Euclidean shaped and it'll sound strange enough that they might take it. And also, there's a link. Euclidean, spherical, hyperbolic. Let's do, can we have a hyperbolic Earth? That'd be pretty rad. We're so close to this being done.
I feel that because it's all laid out for you.
Humusi is the non-gendered way of referring to it. Alright. Canon.
But he acts like God didn't tell you. I think he told you everything. There you go. That's right. God knows everything about you. And your relationship with God is your own relationship with God. You don't need acceptance from a religious group or a church. You have a personal relationship with God. You are the church.
Granite Cuttlefish says an image. I'd enjoy him explaining if he saw it with his own eyes. And then Discordant Vol says, I like hummus, but not that much. Or do I? Hummus is good.
Religion?
I have garlic hummus downstairs. After stream, maybe I'll try it. I haven't had
Organized
it yet.
religion? I'm not justifying any of that. That's been used for evil.
That's Humusi.
In a big, big way. It's hard to justify any of that. But I think the Bible it's a lot like in the Book of Eli. You know how the villain wants the Bible because he wants to do evil with it. He wants to use it to control the people.
Science fiction
Eli
is
wants
fact.
it for good. It's like that.
Yeah, I've seen that picture
Maybe.
before.
You could be right. The New Testament does seem more literal than the Old Testament. There sure is a lot more fantastical elements of the Old Testament, especially in the length of time people lived. That's the way I feel. I'm coming closer and closer to feeling that way. I wanted forever to believe that it was edited by man to control the population, especially a lot of that stuff that I have trouble with. But I think it's just so out of context that it's coming up weird. And if it was really complete, if you had all the stuff that they've taken out around it, it may make more sense.
Abrupt ending. But alright. Interesting guy. We definitely need to take a look at the bingo sheet, because holy crap, you guys are going to have to help me remember, because there was a lot of them. Population control is a motive. Satanic. Only reputable source is the Bible. Not do your own research, but non-researcher says research, which is on page 2, I think. Cites media from 20 years ago. Spurious symbology as evidence. Believes sci-fi technology actually exists. Hey Hannah, so today I learned people believe this, and there's a link.
Intuitive, and she said every time she sees someone with love.
I'll take a look at that in a sec. Page 2. Flat Earth. Aliens. We'll do 47. That's not how science works, fine. Definitely not 85. My research said not by a researcher. Cites fiction as fact. I think that's it. Oh, doesn't understand Matrix as a metaphor for being trans. Now is that it? I want to say that's it. He did mention 666. You're right. You're right. You're right. Where's Mark of the Beast? $68. Cool. Yeah, that was all one video, guys. That's nuts. Did you check out the meat cult guy who suns his balls? He sounds familiar. Probably not lately, though. This guy goes over what's in Tate's MLM scam.
Today I'm getting...
Yeah, I actually watched that already. I'm subscribed to CoffeeZilla. Thanks for the link, though. Nah, not holographic Sun Sky. Okay, cool. Moving on.
Lyme. It's I worked with a medical intuitive, and she said every time she sees someone with Lyme, it's a
medical intuitive, aka someone who is not a doctor, just doing whatever they feel like to you. Smitty451, thanks for 12 months. Happy anniversary. Says, oh wow, happy anniversary. I hope this last year has been as good for you as it has for me. It's been good. I'm glad yours has been good too.
And it's literally bringing in codes from the beginning of time.
Yes.
I know.
I believe this. This gives me chills down my entire body.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it in those exact words before, but I'm often trying to say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Lyme is a gift.
Yes. Yes.
It is not for the faint of heart.
No.
And it is for the most deeply spiritual people on the planet.
Yes.
What? Oh, they're talking about Lyme disease. They think having Lyme disease is a good thing. Oh. Okay. That's different. Oh, these people seemed crazy. It starts here in a second. It's the beginning of a live stream. Did I see Blair did a video on the Moonies 4 days ago, and today she dropped a vid on Tate? Feels like a missed connection or something. Yeah, yeah. Ugh.
Welcome to the lounge, to the most anticipated episode of Dark Portals of CERN Revisited, the part 2, the official sequel. That's right. Welcome to the lounge, original series by Real Deal Media. I am your host, Dean Ryan, and you are watching the most shadow banned show on Facebook in the world, probably. It's probably a lot of people from what I'm hearing. So this is probably going to be one of our last few shows on Facebook, because I hate them with passion, and I hope they go into the dark portals of CERN where they can just roast like chestnuts in Lucifer's kitchen. That's how I feel about that one. But we have quite the show tonight. Quite the show tonight for this part 2, a very highly anticipated sequel to the first installment of Dark Portals and our deep dive that we did in 2021, in the fall of it. And we have just seen so many twists and turns in this discovery, in this great awakening of just major institutions, and just very wicked ones at that have been embedded in societies across the world. A lot of people are discovering for the first time exactly where their tax dollars are going.
Tucker White with 45 bits says, Hannah shouts, "Sir, could you keep it down? We can hear you from in here in bumfuck Michigan."
And saying, oh my word, we had no idea. And when you find
This guy's a TOS nightmare for Twitch streamers? Oh, I'm not gonna watch him then. Fuck that. Guys, Gina's back. I know I'm gonna have to cut that out for YouTube, but I'm gonna say worth it. Where did the video go that I wanted to watch? There we go.
I've never really read the words of Michael Jackson's song Thriller, but I have just a little while ago. We're going to read them together. It speaks about zombies. It speaks about the midnight hour, and no one is going to be able to save you from the beast that is about to come. I think there's so much more to that song than what meets the eyes, the words of that song, you all. We just,
Did you guys know that the original version of Thriller wasn't Halloween themed? So the actual, like, music for Thriller was already a thing. Oh, God, where is it? What the heck is it called? Why can't I find it? What was it called? Guys, I'm not rickrolling you, I swear to God. Maybe it's in this article. There it is. It's called Starlight. This is just weird. So there was an original version of Thriller where the music was the same, but the lyrics were completely different. And it's a much worse version of the song, quite honestly. They made a good choice completely rewriting it. So this is it, if you've never heard it. I'll cut this from YouTube, too, if I have to. I don't know how much they care about this particular version of the song. It just doesn't work as well without the spooky vibes, you know? Not to mention, I think Michael Jackson's a pedophile, but, you know, that's a different story. Black or White says, is this Michael Jackson going to prom? Yeah, not as good. Either way though. So the song was rewritten at some point. Where did the Gina video go? There.
Did a video earlier on Resident Evil about the zombies and stuff. People were turned into zombies. Since we talked about Resident Evil this morning, the Thriller song by Michael Jackson came into my mind. Let's read these words, you all. It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze. As horror looks you right between the eyes, you're paralyzed. 'Cause this is Thriller, Thriller night. And no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. You know it's Thriller. Thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. Yeah. You hear the door slam and realize there's nowhere left to run. You feel the cold hand and wonder if you'll ever see the sun. You close your eyes.
Can someone take this and like make it put it in the song? I don't know how to do that. Someone actually put this into the song and sample me saying this too and put it in there somewhere. Ooh, use that in there somewhere too.
Eyes and hope that this is just imagination, girl. But all the while, you hear a creature creeping up behind. You're out of time. 'Cause this is Thriller. Thriller night. There ain't no second chance against the thing with 40 eyes, girl. Thriller, Thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. Night creatures calling. The dead start to walk in their masquerade. There's no escaping the jaws of the alien this time. They're open wide. This is the end of your life. They're out to get you. There's demons closing in on every side.
What are we talking about? Thriller, apparently?
They will possess you
How long does it take to
unless
read
you
the lyrics
change
to
that
Thriller?
number on your dial. Now is the time.
You guys mind? We're only halfway through her reading the lyrics. Can I skip her reading the rest of the lyrics monotone?
For you and I to cut our try. Thriller night, said hand, getting down, babe. Thriller, I'm going to.
I assume we know the lyrics to
funk
Thriller.
Of 40,000 to seal your.
Okay, we can listen to the last part because that's good.
Thriller at night, babe. Thriller at night, babe. The foulest stench is in the air. The funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver, for no mere mortal can resist the evil of the thriller. Ah, that's how it ends. Look at the depiction. Right here, you have Michael Jackson and his Thriller.
Sky comment says,
dancing
auto-tune. Someone
with
auto-tune this now.
People who were humans, but they got turned into zombies. This is, I guess, the back cover. Looks like a vampire, it really does, with like sharp teeth, reptilian eyes, clearly denoting, you know.
Reptilians on the bingo card.
No, they're not human at all. And like right here. It's like this, I think it was like one of the #1 sellers, this song right here. But if you read the lyrics like we did, they're so dark. They're
Oh yeah, he's a werewolf.
Really dark, and look at that. Part of him can be human, but then he can flash his eyes. Is that like the reptilians? They can like flash their eyes like that too. You can see them, and whenever they want you to, the scales lifted, and then boom. But look at that. Clearly, this is some type of a programming that was put out there, and they made sure that Thriller song, the Thriller little video thing, it made its rounds everywhere. Everybody saw it. And it's strange. It really is strange. I wasn't allowed to watch it. My mother didn't want me watching a lot of stuff.
And clearly, being that sheltered worked out for you, Gina. Tucker White says, no shit, Gina. Thriller is catchy as fuck and is arguably the greatest music video ever made, though I think a strong case can also be made for Smooth Criminal. I just wish he wasn't a pedophile. I can't enjoy it. I can't enjoy it. I can't do it. And if you disagree, that's your business. I just think the dude touched kids. That's just how I feel about it.
And that does not look like Michael Jackson at all. It looks like someone totally different. Totally different. Kinda looks like a woman also. He, in this picture, kinda might look like, I don't know. I don't. It was such like a drastic change that took place in his career. And it literally caught the people by surprise. I think it really did. Look at this, is the first time I've seen these pictures. No. That's not Michael Jackson.
It is. Discordant Fool says, this is why the dumpster behind the Waffle House will be full of surprises for Gina. That's like saying, let's early Elvis versus old Elvis. So another really popular musician whose image and stage presence changed a lot between early performances and late performances. A good example would be Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley when he first came out versus Elvis Presley in his later Las Vegas years. There's a difference, okay? This happens. People change throughout their careers. Look at Avril Lavigne. Look at Taylor Swift. all musicians who had one image and style when they started, and that style and image has evolved throughout their career. It's not uncommon. If you stay exactly the same, usually you kind of get left behind.
There's no way that's Michael Jackson in this.
Heck, the Beatles from their first appearances in their suits and mop top haircuts to their, later more psychedelic Sgt. Pepper look. There's a huge difference between early career and late career musicians. They get older, they change.
Reported nose surgery, plastic surgery. You know that they do stuff like that. And they put someone else in their place. No, Michael Jackson was a handsome young man growing up with his family. He was. And,
Sume with a link.
Bonnie Peggy Ramsey that any man may see. Bonnie was her face, fair freckled was she. Hey nonny nonny, hey nonny nay. With a slap off my thigh I will dance all the day. With a slap off his thigh it will dance all the day.
I like the Goes Wrong show. Funny Little Lizard with 100 bits has finally got greenlit for my top surgery. Is it alright if I share my GoFundMe? Go for it.
There was a goose that was porked by a ham. I have a sausage, as I am a man. He has a sausage, and she is a man. The goose was in charge, I drank to its health. Then I took off my trousers and showed it myself. He took off his trousers and showed it himself.
This is a most pleasing tune.
Oh, prithee more. What happened to Bonnie Peggy Ramsey?
Yeah, Michael Jackson had vitiligo, so yeah. He had surgeries to even out the skin
Peggy
tone.
Came back, and what did she see? The goose, it was nude and laying with me. Goose, it was nude and laying with he. It was the first time, it shan't be the last. I put my sausage in the goose's.
Prithee, no more fool. That's quite enough, thank you.
If you don't know the premise of the Goes Wrong show, it's supposed to be like a live theater thing, but the joke is each of their productions intentionally goes wrong. And it's cute, the different ways they creatively have things go wrong. Tucker White says, the image you associate with the Beatles is totally manufactured. They weren't actually clean-cut good boys. They were actually hoodlums who ran afoul of the law a lot. Basically, they were what people associate with the Rolling Stones. And that clear-cut image was later made fun of by Frank Reynolds. And It's Always Sunny, when he wanted to start the band the Pecan Sandies. So the kids will come and bop with us.
Something happened. Oh, I don't like looking at that picture. The teeth aren't even the same either, you all. If you look at his teeth and stuff.
A celebrity had work done to their teeth? That never happens!
They're not even the same as,
Tons of celebrities have veneers. It's incredibly common.
They should be. I don't like what happened. I really don't. No. I don't think so, and it's kind of sad. It is, if you think about it. It's really sad. That just don't look like him. No way. No way he had his skin bleached like that, like they said. They're just trying to think of everything. There's no way. No.
That doesn't even make sense. Like, the implication that they would replace Michael Jackson if Michael Jackson didn't have vitiligo, but they would replace him with a white guy for no reason? Like, that doesn't make any sense, Gina. If they were just going to replace Michael Jackson with a lookalike, they'd just replace him with a lookalike that looked like how he looked at the time. They wouldn't just suddenly be like, surprise! Looks white now because he, again, had vitiligo. He went and had stuff done so that it evened out his skin tone.
No, I don't buy it. I really don't buy it.
I wouldn't say clones, because I don't think she's saying clone. I think she just thinks it's an actor or something.
That's him. That's him.
Unless she says
his
otherwise.
His teeth look totally different in that picture. That's him. And he looked happy. He did look happy in that picture. Very happy. And then in this picture, no, you notice they always bring in the dark glasses. They do. They bring in the dark
This is the premise of a robot chicken sketch.
A huge crowd of...
I can't play it. Not that I would anyway. I haven't liked Robot Chicken in a while. I don't think... there's some sketches that I think are funny, but, like, if I don't have nostalgia for a certain sketch, usually Robot Chicken shit makes my eyes roll at this point.
glasses is what they do. It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart.
Carney, thanks for 10
You try to
months.
scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze a beast about to wonder if you'll ever see the sun.
Good God.
I don't think that was even the real Michael Jackson doing the Thriller movie. After looking at all these pictures, I don't. I think that there is a much
So Michael Jackson didn't do the most famous thing he's famous for?
darker.
Like, I know he did plenty of other albums and, you know, people like Bad and stuff, but, like, Thriller's the thing. Thriller is the Michael Jackson album.
Thing happening than any of us realize. And it's sad. It really is. It's like his innocence was stolen from him. And then his character was trashed. It really, that's what it seems like.
Again, I think the dude was a pedophile, so...
Like... I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, because I think there's a lot of clues that are put in the movies. I really do. And we very well probably will be facing a zombie apocalypse before it's all said and done. So with that being said, hello wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello from my heart to yours.
Thanks, Gina. Who's this Gina? Have you covered her before? Yeah, Gina's the woman who's dancing in my intro screen. Hold on. You never see... If you show up before the intro or after the intro screen, usually this is what it looks like. Do 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 do. Do 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 ba da ba da ba. So Gina's the lady who dances on the... She's the lady who dances on the screen. She's a conspiracy theorist. Andy Pretzel says, Michael literally ended up so messed up because he didn't get to have a childhood. He was a singer pretty much his entire life. Yeah, his dad abused him quite badly. As he did a lot of the kids, but I think Michael got a lot of it. How about a mud flood fake history person? This person thinks history's manufactured and fake, so let's take a look.
Let's see if I can help you understand the creation of our prototype humanity of the last 200 years. Sweet, short, and to the point. So, Industrial Revolution, orphan trains, baby incubators, 19th century, big stuff in the expos, and the expos were left behind by the previous humanity. Nurses and the women who were carrying and bringing up and raising all these children, infant incubators with living infants, proper attraction, very, very good attraction, very big attraction for the adults who would come to get children on their lands in all of the United States of America. This is the USA. Maybe it's also for Australia and Canada and Russia and other countries, who knows. Baby incubators, stick with me. I hope you're not gonna get lost. Don't be a mortal.
He understands that things like this still exist within, like, NICUs, right? Like, preemies are put in, like, chambers, like, incubate, like... He knows this isn't a sci-fi technology he's looking at, right?
Moralist. This is history. Sorry for all those of you who are moralists and you don't want to see facts for themselves. People will just come rich.
It seems like he thinks literally it's like an artificial womb that you could, like, put, you know, a brand new, like, just formed zygote into, and it would be, you know.
People and say, oh, I want this child, I want that. Later on you're going to see a text.
Check Twitter in a bit. Okay.
Infant incubators again. Wanted. Homes for children. A company of homeless children from the east will arrive. A company of homeless children. Company. That's very important from a legal perspective.
It's not.
Special delivery.
Just means a group of.
In 1916, on an orphan train. Special delivery. Treating like products. And I'm just reading history in official newspapers. Beginning of the 20th century. 19th century. I'm not doing anything wrong. This is history. Incubators. Infant incubators were like a thing. No, you don't see this anymore.
They still are! What? Baby incubator. Like, is he dumb? Does he genuinely not know that these fucking exist? Like, what? Even one of the photos he used comes from an article about, like, the early versions of these things. Has he never been in a... what? What the fuck?
On the streets. Why is it so? Is it because these are the origins of our humanity? I'm not saying about all the other humanities. Our humanity, our prototype, 2 centuries old and stuff. Baby incubator, 12 months growth in 1 hour. 12 months growth in 1 hour. Impressive stuff, isn't it? The baby incubator, so begins at the...
Whatever that is either a Photoshop or a scam. That's not really what they're talking about.
Baby incubator, and you just go in and you have fun and you select whatever you want, just like a product. Hey, and that's the incubator there. You can zoom in if you want. Actually, zoom in. And again, baby incubators, one scene never forgotten. People go inside. Big stuff, you know. You don't see this anymore today. Why? Is it because we are more...
It's from a carnival ride. It's a scam. I was gonna say it looks like a carnival ride.
Moralists now. Oh, we sit in movies. We sit in clone movies. But
clones on the bingo card.
Anyway, I'm just gonna leave this text here for like... You can pause the video and you can read it. Maybe you're gonna get shocked. Hey, official text. It's not me inventing it. Official history. And all of a sudden we have, because, you know, like the days when, you know, the electric motors were left from the previous humanity, they had like 30 to 50 years, maybe even less. And then all those kids, after they grew up and they were like adults, oh, surprise, the Industrial Revolution. All the slaves who were working hard, they were like the bankers and the owners of the big companies, and of course they need a lot of labor and a lot of manpower. Do you now understand the importance of baby incubators and special deliveries with the orphan trains? Why were they orphan? Were they orphan because something happened to the parents? And of course,
yeah, that's often how orphans happen, or the parents give them up for some reason, yeah.
Tucker
White says, Carney, Hannah, step right up and see this bullshit that I'm gonna con you dumbasses into viewing! This way to the egress! Sky Comet says, there's a call space blocking me from bingo. It says, calls people optometrist. What do you want me to do? That sucks. I'm sorry. There's nothing to do.
Education compulsory because you need to know how to write and read basic stuff and basic math. Why? Back in the day it was something normal to see children working in companies and factories because, you know, that was the norm. Nobody cared. Hey,
very warm.
I'm just showing history. I'm not doing anything bad. It's not. I'm just showing what happened. I forgot. Today people don't like to be shown what happened because we're just like so moralist now. Work or riot, one or the other. And all of a sudden, people got more evolved, more emancipated. Some of these kids, when they grew up, they didn't want to be treated like this anymore. Good work or rioting, and that's when our problems start as a humanity in the 20th century. And now we have the fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence. Remember this, the first steam-based, and I would say the steam stuff, steampunk, maybe those steam devices were actually left from the previous humanity as well. And the second one, in the 19th and 20th century, electrical energy-based, times of Nikola Tesla. But Nikola Tesla was not allowed to do things properly. The third, which was after the Second World War.
The conspiracy theorist worship of Nikola Tesla is just absurd. I get it, guys. Nikola Tesla got treated like shit while he was alive. His research was underappreciated at best, and at worst, was discredited or stolen by people like Thomas Edison, who are big shitbags. I get it. But overcompensating by acting like he was this like science fiction steampunk Tony Stark that had free energy? Not true. The guy was kind of a whack job, okay? He was also in love with a pigeon. Brilliant guy, not a Deus Ex Machina savior guy, okay? What does he mean when he says moralist? I have no idea.
Computer and internet based. So, the internet arrived, the first PCs, the days of the 70s and the 80s, the personal computer, Windows, primitive days of the internet and stuff. And now the fourth revolution, which actually started pretty much from the year...
You don't have to worry about it, Baha. I can do it. I know, how to.
2010 onwards, let's so say, like massively. Information technology, everything is linked, everything is connected. The confluence and convergence of emerging technologies, 5G and everything connected, the Internet of Things. And of course we go to the airport of Denver Airport, and we have the murals, and we see only kids.
No, I know I don't have the link, but what I'm saying is I can make the new bingo card, because I know you have a lot of stuff going on right now, and I don't want to put extra work on top of it, so I can do it. I'll make a new one.
It's in the near future. Again, just like we've seen in the pictures of the 19th century. No adults, just kids. And the destruction behind of nature and everything else in the cities, polluted, and kids for the future. Industrial revolution, the fourth revolution. Now all these pictures, do you now understand just a bit? Or is it too much? This is history. And it's there. Nothing is hidden. Has something clicked in your head? I hope so. So I will see you guys in the next video. Let's finish the video with infant incubators. Take care.
In a world that is crazy, we are searching for answers. We are searching for the truth. Welcome to the Truth Zone.
First of all, Klaus, I want to congratulate you. This is an incredible group of people. We had dinner last night with about 15 leaders of industry, none of whom I knew, but all of whom I've read about for years. And
Chromatic Cuttlefish with 50 bits says, it's infuriating how casually these idiots gloss over the epic struggle by Victorian social reformers, trade unions, etc. to make life less shit for economically disadvantaged segments of society. Yeah.
It was truly an incredible group, but I think I have 15 new friends. So this has been really great what you've done in putting it together, the Economic Forum.
What is your message to the senators at your trial? Why is it better to be here in Davos than in Washington, D.C.?
Well, we're here meeting with world leaders, the biggest, most important people in the world, and we're bringing back tremendous business in the United States, and they're all here to see. We look forward to being here. Klaus has done a fantastic job. And again, we're meeting with the biggest companies in the world, the biggest businesses in the world, and world leaders, all for the benefit of the United States. We look forward to the meetings.
He's going to call Trump satanic for going to a, what's the name of it? World Economic Forum thing. With Schwab, whatever his name.
He's the CEO of AppyJect, a company that entered into a $138 million deal with the Trump administration called Project Jumpstart. Welcome, Mr. Walker.
Glad to be here, Lori.
So what is Project Jumpstart?
Wayne, Mike.
I'm going to get to the conspiracy guy talking, because we get it.
Have we in those areas? That technology is purely optional, however, and the U.S. government hasn't even decided if they're going to use it.
Klaus has done a fantastic job.
Global reliance, your free. Here, you're right.
Sorry, I clicked on the wrong video. I thought I had the one where he talked about it.
Please understand.
To do this, you need to go to the Bourne base.
Yeah, I must have clicked on the wrong video. Sorry about that. KBS 666, thanks for 12 months, says 17 months. With 17 months, damn, this baby is kicking like mad. And Sky Comet says, the man who told 30,000 lies is introducing the truth zone. Okay, sure, fits with the time, I guess.
Another disturbing truth. Now today we go take a breakdown to this character they call Eddie Murphy from back in the days with this Saturday Night Live bullshit they got for the masses, and now
Olvin Aspiration, thanks for 3 months, says, here we go.
the so-called back. Yes, another round of fuckery for the masses, and I told you, these puppets, they never let them go. They always use them to run mind games on the damn people. Let's get into the so-called Eddie Murphy right here and break.
It's weird that this guy has that verbal tick roll say so-called in front of things that, like, are objectively that thing. So-called Eddie Murphy. I think he says so-called Saturday Night Live in a minute, and it's like, that's what it's called. It is, but, like, it's also literally that.
Eddie Murphy back in Studio 8H, where he first...
Yes, as you could see him right there holding the devil horns, people. Yes, he back at Studio 8H. For your code in 88, you understand? That's how they do it, people. And I told you, this Saturday Night Live shit right here is a big old brainwash on the masses. A lot of people never get it.
First rocketed to stardom, the crowd cheering him on.
Yes, and as you hear this crowd cheering him on, and it's the so-called Saturday Night Live that rocketed into stardom. You believe it?
Video's quiet. I can turn it up. 1 sec. Narrator 9000 says, to be honest, the World Economic Forum are ghouls, but not for the reason QAnoners think. Yeah, I've talked about that before on stream. By all means, hate the World Economic Forum, just not for conspiracy reasons, more for doing their best to shape the world, and especially developing nations in order to figure out how to best exploit the workers there. Yeah, they're fucking evil.
It's the one that big him up and put him on the masses. Yes, so he's back. You never get it, people. Government programming.
This is the last episode of 2019, but if you're black, this is the first episode since I left back in 1984.
And of course, they always go push their racism and stereotype on the masses with the show. That's what it's about. And the same politics that they give you. What you think the Saturday Night Live is about? Taking real life, so-called, and mocking the masses.
Murphy saying in the decades since then, he's mellowed out to the
There
surprise.
you go, people. Just an old school puppet they got on the masses, and of course they never forget their puppets. They're gonna bring him back on the scene 100%. And just in case you're dumb, they might have a psyop lineup for you with this one right here. That's why they bring him back on the scene.
Of many.
If you would have told me 30 years ago
Yeah,
that
watch his hand sign. They said devil horns about 30 years ago, all coded.
I would be this boring stay-at-home, you know, house dad, and Bill Cosby would be in jail.
There you go. There you go, people. That's how they do it. Everything is a joke to them. And who they laughing at? They're laughing at the people. That's what you need to watch.
Even I would have took that bet.
Just 19 when he joined the cast.
And there you go, people. Just 19. He joined the cast as he's 19. As I don't tell you, all of them basically grew up in Hollywood, as you could see with the number 6 right there post up.
Back in 1980,
He's number 69. It's a 69 joke.
He was credited with...
And take a look at this right here. From back in the days, they're giving you this fake panda bear right there. And the masses just dumb. They never get it. It's nothing but fake shit they give you. A China creature that they create.
The show.
There you go.
And last night.
Beautiful day in
And there you go. He's so-called back again. And what is he playing? A bomb? Wake your ass up with the orange.
He's playing Mr. Robinson. It's a parody of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Tiger right there. All coding.
He brought back classic sketches like Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
My neighbor has gone through so much.
Take a look at the house, people. What is they trying to tell you about this Mr. Robinson neighborhood?
He lives in the ghetto. That's the joke. The entire joke is, what if Mr. Rogers, but it was like, if it was like this. That's the joke. It's a very dated 80s joke that they brought back when he came back in 2018 or 19.
They're telling you that he's a bomb?
It's gone through something called gentrification.
Yes, and watch the diamonds and the clothing. All programming
See
for the dumb
gentrification,
people.
boys and girls? It's like a magic trick. White people pay a lot of money, and then poof, all the black people are gone.
You see, every fucking thing they got is division for the masses. You understand? Stereotypes and racism.
It's funny, though. Oh, I don't disagree. I find it funny. It's just kind of trite commentary. It's been done. But of course, when this first happened, it was edgy, I would assume.
They bring you on this show on the dumb politics.
Buckwheat this time performing on the mass.
Buckwheat people. And of course, they sell the masses that black people used to pick corn back in the day. So there you go. They dress him up like a corn in this fucking dumb shit they got for the masses. You wake up, why they doing this right here? It's just
Can we fund Jake to get that corn suit? Because that's a good-ass corn suit.
mockery of the damn people in your...
Also, I don't know if this guy knows, corn was not the primary agricultural export of the South. It was not corn.
So-called mask characters they got for the people telling you is singer mask up. Watch this right here.
And the iconic Gumby.
Yes, it's an iconic Gumby. You never get it, people. People just dumb. This is program dumb shit for the masses with your Eddie Murphy. And of course, those satanic puppets is the one they use
How the hell are you going to put on a show and not have me in the show until now? I should have been in every damn sketch from the top. I'm the one that made that Eddie Murphy a star.
You tell me, people, if this is funny right here. Are you kidding me?
Are we grading on a Saturday Night Live? I'm talking about trite humor, and I'm here in 2022 doing the haha, isn't Saturday Night Live not funny joke? We get it. We get it. It's a weekly sketch comedy show on network TV. It's bland. It's broad. It's not great. We get it. We get it. Everyone's made the fucking joke.
People who watch Saturday Night Live, somebody please tell me, because I already know it's dumb programming for the masses. Nobody really watching that shit.
Has kidney stones with more personality than the two of you. That's a little rude. Face it, kid. The both of you together couldn't Velcro my sneakers.
Murphy celebrating at the end of the show.
People. Bam! And what is it he got right there with him? The fucking sodomite they call Lizzo. Wow, the fucking lizard and the masses. Take a look at it in the fat suit, beat up kneecaps. Yes, what is this they bring to the people? Wow, whack as fuck, can't sing, got no talent, but they push it on the masses.
Holy fuck, this guy's angry.
They told you, this is a perfect example that they can put on anybody. Can the Lizzo sing? Do it got talent? And this sodomite right here that that they used to play the politician all the time. You need to...
Larry David?
Wake up, people. Nothing but dumb down shit for the masses.
Thanks for making this fight.
Wow, look at the Lizzo, people. Look at the Lizzo character. Am I right? It's a man in a fat suit. Yes, and sometimes...
Transvestigation, transphobia on the bingo card.
They spray paint it darker. Of course, it's nothing but a psyop. As you could see the...
Psyop on the bingo card?
Eddie Murphy doing the cross sign right there. You need to wake up. All sodomite in that bunch. Fooling the damn masses.
From my sneakers.
100% in. Bam.
This is Black Jeopardy.
See right here, people. I already told you what it is. It's nothing but mockery. Just like they give you on the comedy.
It's nothing but mockery. Saturday Night Live often does mock things. It's a comedy sketch show that often deals in satire. You don't have to think it's funny or anything, and they're hit or miss, but like, they're a satire. They mock things, yes!
Central with the Dave Chappelle back then is the same mockery of black people right here, and stereotype and dumb you down and you never get it.
All right, what up? What up?
And
What
this fucking idiot right here that they use on the Saturday Night Live, you never get it. He's just a damn puppet. 100% in, grew up in Hollywood, and they use him to brainwash the people. All purple behind him and on his...
When I saw a Good Burger, I did think to myself that Kenan Thompson sure is an Illuminati puppet.
damn tie.
Welcome to Black Jeopardy, the only Jeopardy that starts sometime between 8 and 9 o'clock. I'm your host, Darnell Hayes. Our contestants today are Rashad. What's correct?
You see, people, all they do is mocking the people. You never get it, people.
Kiana. Hi.
Wow.
Nah, I don't think it's word sound.
And Mr. Velvet Jones. Hi, I'm Velvet Jones.
There go your Eddie Murphy, and watch what he do. Put up the Freemason sign right there on the hand.
This is he's just hands just up in a neutral position. This is a Freemason sign now. Freemasons on the bingo card.
And he wearing a fucking wig.
It says here you're the founder of the Velvet Jones School of Technology.
That's right. I show ladies how to start their own business making up to $1,500 a week. With my
15 for your number 6, but pay attention, because everything they bring you is mockery. It's never funny, people. Why did you laugh? Because it's stupid? Wow, because it's certainly not funny.
#1 bestseller. I want to be a hoe.
Wow. You see that right there?
Okay, Mr.
Procagam says, does this guy think that we don't know that SNL is a satire show? I'm not sure.
Jones, this is not an infomercial, and it's a little early to be talking that spicy. But let's take a look at our categories. We got My Last Nerve. Go ahead then. I ain't want to say nothing, but I'm on break. What you not gonna do? And as always, white people.
You see that right there, people? Pay attention, because you know where they're carrying it. Once it's on Saturday Night Live and it's something to so-called make you laugh, this is where they slide off the racism and the stereotype on the masses. You're never gonna know where you get it, but here you go right
All right,
here.
Rashad, you're our returning champ, so you pick. Let's go with what you not gonna do for 200. All right, the answer there. Your white friend wants to give you an elf on the shelf. Rashad, what you not gonna do is put a holiday snitch in my house. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the only thing I want watching me is Jesus. All right, Rashad.
All fucking dumb down at the masses. Everything come out their mouth. Pay attention.
Let's stay with what you're not gonna do. All right, the answer there. They say your neighbor paid $300 for pole dancing classes.
And of course, they're gonna use 300 for your tree.
Oh, Velvet Jones.
What a shame.
Our narrator 9000 says, this guy is 50% tinfoil and 50% fedora tipping. I'm far too smart for all of this, bro.
Why spend good money on classes when you can do that for half the price in my basement? It's all in my new book entitled, How to Dance Like a Hoe.
Well,
wow.
good try, Mr. Jones, but on this show we say women. You understand that, right?
Yes. Women.
All right, well, then it's your turn.
Let's go to I ain't wanna do say nothing.
Okay. Oh, we got a time and a half question. This one's worth time and a half. All right, here's the picture. Oh,
wow.
Idris.
Watch this right here, people. And I told you they give you these so-called cats. Man and woman playing cats. What's up with the cats, people?
What is up with the cats, people? Still waiting for that butthole cut.
You better wake your ass up. Nothing but satanic shit. And who is this with the horn and the tail? Eldris Alba? The sodomite? Wow, dumb on.
Running around here acting like a cat now. Kiana.
What is? I ain't want to say nothing, but movies can stay white.
Yeah.
Procagam says, finally, this man is spitting facts.
That's right, diversity should have some limits.
Haha, that man looks ridiculous. How is he supposed to wear a three-piece? Where's his three-piece suit and his tiny gold chains and his long flowing...
Is he funny, people? Pay attention. Is it Eddie Murphy funny?
Sometimes, I don't know.
That's a news flash.
He said a couple kind of funny things here.
That's right there. He's not funny by a long shot, people. What is this about?
Process hair. How will he ever attract a good hoe?
Coming to America is one of the funniest movies of all time, in my opinion. Like, he's a pretty funny guy. He can also be very not funny, but, you know, just depends.
Mr. Jones, folks on the internet are going to be upset if you keep talking like that. All right, Kiana, it's your pick.
Let's go to my last nerve for 200.
All right, the answer. Your girlfriend says she got to work overtime because the holidays. Velvet Jones.
What a wonderful opportunity for this young lady to go into business for herself. Personally, I think there's nothing more sexy than a woman who makes her own money. And she can learn how to do that with my new book entitled...
Please don't say be a hoe.
I wasn't. This book is called Ass for Cash.
Yes, and if you know these people, all of them that he pull out is purple. But I tell you people, this is how they do it. And because it's so-called laughable or funny so-called, you're basically not paying attention what it's really about. You understand? This is what...
Honestly, a lot of it probably has to do with the contrast, making it very easy to read with that sort of pastel purple printed on with like really, really yellow in big text. It makes it easy to read for the camera.
What they push on the masses. And remember, what is this right here? TV for the masses. What do you think? I told you, stay off those fucking programming with your so-called Eddie Murphy, another puppet in Hollywood. I'm gone.
Wow, what a striking expose on Eddie Murphy. So-called Eddie Murphy.
Look at this.
I think we're gonna do one more video and then call it a night. This is a flat earther and space denier who's basically just gonna say, I think these satellites are weird and I don't believe they exist. It's just like a 6-minute argument from incredulity.
I thought,
That's all this guy does. This is from Level Earth Observer.
No. Thank you, by the way, Mike, for sending me this. And look, NASA has 2 satellites, apparently, chasing each other around the Earth.
I will indeed raid into Cirrus.
Of tracking the distance between themselves to measure gravitational anomalies. Their nicknames are Tom and Jerry. You literally can't make this shit up.
Does he think scientists don't have any sense of humor? Like, yes, they're intentionally named after Tom and Jerry, the cartoon characters, because they wanted a cute name.
And people will believe this, Tosh. And people will defend it. Even though we've proven week in, week out the globe is impossible and space is just a silly production for the naive. They continue to mock these individuals who believe in this fairy tale that is space and the globe. With stories like this, satellites called Tom and Jerry, chasing each other around a scientifically impossible globe. Fucking insane.
Yep, the Sonic the Hedgehog gene, and isn't one of its, God, is it called antagonizers? Is called, like, Robotnik or something?
Sure enough, it's been 2 missions, Grace, which was the original 2 satellites, and now Grace FO, which is 2 more satellites. So the mission is basically continuing, supposedly, to this day. Let's say, first of all, Grace, and then the second mission, Grace FO, which we get to see all in all its CGI glory here. What's the cost of this, in fact? Bear with me.
You need an email? I'll share my email with you on Twitter.
So I've got a figure of $430 million, but I think that figure is for the second mission, the Grace FO, which is the mission that's going on at the moment. So I don't think that figure includes the first mission, which, let's say, because that was the early noughties, let's say that's about $300 million. So about approximately $300 million, and most definitely in this instance for the second mission, $430 million. So pretty big bucks. And then we look for some evidence of these spacecraft in an environment that we know is scientifically impossible, orbiting something that we know is scientifically impossible. And of course, because of that, all we get is cartoons. Very expensive cartoons. So you get a firework.
So he wants to complain about the expense of the satellites, but he wants a further expense to make more satellites, to take pictures of all the other satellites.
Display. Expensive cartoons. And data which no doubt comes from balloons and high altitude planes. It's just, and the fact they've called this Tom and Jerry is absolute mock.
Discordant Vol says the ego-driven garbage is so frustrating every time. It's look at how they're laughing at us. They're such snowflakes.
Literally. Absolute mockery. What's this? So all we've got is cartoons. I've just noticed this. What's this? 15 years of grace. 2 satellites. So this is discussing the first mission. 137 miles apart. 3,400 gigatons Greenland. Ice loss measured. 1,550 gigatons Antarctica. So if any real life measurements are being done, it's obviously not being done by cartoon satellites orbiting a scientifically impossible ball. As I stated just now, it's obviously any real data comes from high altitude planes, WB-57, NASA's planes, which they also use for NOAA, U-2, in this instance the ER2, which again...
Hold on, I got the Gina thing. Let me see if I can open it. Just gotta get it from Gmail. That's the wrong login. Good God. Alright. I think we're probably good. What a good stream. Let's raid Cirrus. Let's go. Cause this is Thriller, Thriller Night. Alright. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Thanks for another awesome Tinfoil Tuesday. Night, everyone.